Hello, good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present the headlines in the news tonight. Former presidential advisor Chris Zumani ZIMBA acquitted of treason charges. The church condemns the looting of national resources through compensations. Over 30 miners trapped following a mine accident. In international news, an opposition leader promises to heal and restore DR-CONGO. And in sports news, Copper Queens hold recovery session in NDOLA. These are more stories coming up after this break.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Another news in detail. The National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, NWASCO, has advised members of the general public to avoid drinking from shallow wells to avoid contracting cholera. Recently, Health Minister Sylvia Masewo confirmed a suspected cholera outbreak in Lusaka's Kanyama Township, resulting in one fatality. The outbreak was diagnosed on October 15, 2023. NWASCO Communications Manager Mpunga Samokwai says good hygiene is critical to cholera prevention. Details in the following report.
Cholera is a bacterial disease usually spread through the contaminated water. Cholera causes severe diarrhea and dehydration. Left untreated, cholera can be fatal within hours, even in previously healthy people. Modern sewage and water treatment have virtually eliminated cholera in industrialized countries, but cholera still exists in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Haiti. Recently, Health Minister Sylvia Masewo confirmed the suspected cholera outbreak in Lusaka's Kanyama Township, resulting in one fatality. The outbreak was diagnosed on October 15, 2023.
Rapid response teams were dispatched into the community for contact tracing and were able to identify a community death that is alleged to have been linked to this index case prior to confirmation of the outbreak.
The cholera situation has been contained, but it must be known that the disease thrives in the rainy season owing to contamination of water and food. We spoke to the Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company to understand what they are doing to ensure the availability of water in hotspot areas.
There's every effort to be able to achieve that. We are working very closely with the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation.
National Water Supply and Sanitation Company Public Relations and Communications Manager Mpunga Samokwai has implored people to observe high levels of hygiene. She underscored the need for people to adhere to good hygienic practices such as hand washing.
So our appeal, as always in the rainy season, is to encourage members of the public, our customers, to just ensure that they continue to wash their hands at critical times. They continue to get their water only from clean and certified sources, and also to ensure that their water is boiled, and if you are able to boil your water, to at least chlorinate. Would like also to take this opportunity just to appeal also to members of the public to avoid, accessing water from shallow wells, because as you know, water from shallow wells is not treated. It might be contaminated. It might contain fecal matter.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The harsh economy facing the country has negatively impacted the income of most marketeers at Lusaka's Mutendere market. One of the traders, Prince Soko, says business has dropped to the level where they are no longer able to save or boost their businesses. Another trader, Givnes Kaya, appealed to the government to increase the number of beneficiaries of the marketeers' booster loans. More in the following report.
The continuous depreciation of Zambia's currency, the kwacha, against major convertibles is causing serious problems for small and medium businesses in the country. The Zambian kwacha has lost its value against the dollar since the beginning of this year, pushing up the cost of input for Zambian producers, manufacturers, retailers and services. The depreciation has resulted in high operational costs, making it expensive to run a local business. This has cut profit by more than 50% at many Zambian businesses, according to traders at Lusaka's Mtendere market.
Like this year, business moya ndera, sinaende bwino. Because like maizi ya kumbuyo, kenzo kulisa malimbu shika compare na this year. Bantu bambiri badandaula nkani ya ndrama walipe, kudala tenzo panga maningi ndrama na kukulisa ongera kunuka kulisa. But this year, business service, si business okondwelesi. Those most especially marketeers zidandaula kulingana muendera business this year. Bantu wakambati mchani mu community mlipe ndrama. So tidandaula kuti maybe skiza kumwenga ngaire sisa so sikwe itoke akapena problem ulipati. Ti ndrama msakileshe mpezeke mlipe.
This enda ku. Yasiana na zaka za kumbuyo.
Mchani che mwana pochavuta this year.
Ametwaona kusunga ndalama, ametwenzo sunga kudala. Siana kutali na nini. So mavuto twaona aenda kusunga. Kudala tenzo kwezo ngako kuno mai madeza ni olubana lai.
Givnes Kaya, another trader, has appealed to government to increase the number of beneficiaries of the marketeers' booster loans.
Business bali nondao isienda kupambana mwamene nzendera kudala twezosunga kondrama munyumba pena ngwasungapo 1 pin 2 pin manje pali ino time sisungapo ndrama ili yonse tukangibogulira na bana potenga ku skulu tukangibogulira na bana na mabuku chifukwa cha ndrama za vuta ukakula kasaka kamozi kalepo bagulisa mu 1 day kabona nikudala njisi batupasako ifa wana market manje tuzasunga bwanji bana batu.
According to the Minister of SMEs, about 80,000 marketeers have so far benefited from the marketeers booster loans countrywide as of November 13th, 2023. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
The Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, EFZ, has condemned the recent consent judgments being entered into by the Attorney General Chambers. EFZ Executive Director Bishop Andrew Mwenda describes the consent judgments as deliberate legal path to loot national resources in favor of those connected to the government. Bishop Mwenda fears that if the questionable consent judgments persist, there will be no meaningful development in the country.
While it is a constitutional right for any aggrieved citizen to seek redress through the courts of law, we are left to wonder why the Attorney General is opting for shortcuts without subjecting compensation claims to a full legal process. We are deeply concerned that the endless list of those being awarded hefty compensation through consent judgment continues to grow unabated, and we understand that there are a lot more similar cases in the pipeline. So far, those who have benefited from these questionable consent judgments include Chief Mukun's wife and 4 others who were granted 500 kwacha each by the Livingstone High Court in February 2023. In August, we saw 5 UPND supporters accused of treason win with the then opposition leader President Hakainde Hichilema, who were awarded 6.4 million kwacha each through consent judgment. Others include 1 million kwacha paid to each of the 10 UPND members imprisoned on allegations of being behind City Market fire. 530 awarded to Mr. Frank Tayali, 900,000 kwacha awarded to Mr. Obvious Maditeta, and now Mr. William Banda has also sued, claiming 3 million kwacha. We challenge the state to subject any future claims of questionable compensation to a full court process where the merits of the claims can be put to test in an open court. Failure to do so, the Attorney General's chamber will stand accused by the public court of opinion.
Some students who benefited from the Higher Education Loans and Scholarships Board loans have called on the board to rethink its decision of beginning to list beneficiaries of the loan who have defaulted to the TransUnion Credit Reference Bureau. Those spoken to by Camnet News say taking such an action is retrogressive amid its harsh economic conditions. But National Chairperson for the National Council of Student Unions, Michelo Chizombe, says the council is engaging with government to help resolve the issue because underlying issues still characterize it. Details in this report.
Recent calls on the Higher Education Loan Scholarship Board to restructure provisions of student loans and a reminder to President Hakainde Hichilema to honor his campaign promise of restructuring the public loan program. While in opposition, President Hakainde Hichilema promised to restructure the student loan program, citing the economic challenges of graduates, which has not changed. However, despite the announcement by the Minister of Education, Douglas Yakalima, that loan rates have been reduced from 15% to 10%, some beneficiaries of the loan have condemned the action by the Loans and Scholarship Board to list beneficiaries of the program who have defaulted to the TransUnion Credit Reference Bureau as uncalled for. The former students allege that the move is aimed at perpetuating the poverty of graduates in the country. They challenge the government to employ everyone who benefited from the loans before taking such actions.
They are paying back, they are too much, and then you say we punish you because you have failed. It's not very fair. Where would they expect that poor, normal, regular student beneficiary to get the job in this country of ours where jobs are very scarce? Difficult. Now, where would they expect that person who is doing business to get the proper profits and be able to pay 2.7? Where? Very difficult. So, not now. Yes, let this move come, let alone after. Probably maybe the structure, if they consider, obviously, restructuring the bursaries. Others what are saying is that the cuttings of the monies is too much, and then when you say we punish you because you are failing to pay, is not very, very fair to the beneficiaries themselves.
It's not the fault of beneficiaries that they are not working. There isn't employment. Employment is not there. If the government had created employment and these graduates and beneficiaries are doing it on purpose, then it would make sense that the government would list them on the TransUnion's Reference Credit Bureau. But it doesn't make sense that the government is doing this at this moment. This is a move, if taken, which asks the Higher Education Loans and Scholarships Board Restructure Campaign Committee, which will continue to protest against and challenge in court if necessary. So we are asking the government to reconsider its position. They are not supposed to persecute and distress beneficiaries even more, because the way it is at the moment, as it is, these loan policies are still stressing beneficiaries because the amount of money that you're supposed to pay back every month is very high.
The government in 2012 decided to replace the National Bursary Scheme with student loans in a quest to make the program benefit more people, answering to controversies surrounding corruption in the awarding process. Meanwhile, the National Chairperson for the National Council of Student Unions, Michelo Chizombe, says the council is in the process of engaging the government on various issues surrounding the scheme.
And in this light, we definitely are going to sit down with our colleagues, the previous beneficiaries, like we did with them when they reached out to us for calling for a reduction of repayment rates. And on the flip side, we are also going to continue to engage with government through the Ministry of Education so that we see how this matter can be harmonized As you might also be aware, there are strides being made to try and remodel the whole loan scheme facility.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, has challenged the National Development Coordinating Committee, NDCC, to focus on addressing the increasing levels of poverty and inequality in the country. Speaking during the official opening of the 4th NDCC meeting in Lusaka Friday, Mr. Kangwa highlights that poverty and inequality have remained high, as revealed in the Living Conditions Monitoring Survey by the Zambia Statistical Agency, ZAMSTATS. Mr. Kangwa, however, says the country's economy has been unstable due to its vulnerability to external shocks, such as the effects of changes in prices of key commodities on the global markets. And representative of cooperating partners, Beatrice Mutali, called for more commitment in achieving developmental goals and eradicating poverty. Here's a report.
Zambia is a member to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which were initiated in 2015, with goal number 1 focusing on ending poverty in all forms everywhere by 2030. Its objectives include ensuring that the entire population, especially the most vulnerable, have equal rights to economic resources, access to basic services, property and land control, natural resources, and new technologies. According to the 2022 Living Conditions Monitoring Survey, the incidence of poverty by residents was estimated at 60% compared to 54.4% in 2022, meaning that about 12,341,842 citizens in Zambia live in poverty. Secretary to the Cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, has challenged the National Development Coordinating Committee, NDCC, to focus on addressing the increasing levels of poverty and inequality in the country. Speaking during the official opening of the 4th NDCC, Mr. Kangwa says, despite the country's economy being vulnerable to economic shocks, efforts to eradicate poverty should not stop.
That need to be addressed, of course. Poverty and inequality, for instance, remain high, as revealed in the latest Living Conditions Monitoring Survey. The country is still vulnerable to external shocks, as seen from the effects of changes in prices of key commodities on the global markets. These issues should preoccupy us in these NDCC meetings. We must rally together to address these and other challenges and make more progress in all spheres of development. Our commitment must be demonstrated by our actions and the results that we report.
And representative of cooperating partners, who is also Zambia's UN resident coordinator, Beatrice Mutali, took note of the reforms being made but called for the need to refocus on achieving developmental agendas such as Vision 2063.
Towards implementation of its 5-year plan, and this way the progress also towards the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2063. The cooperating partners remain committed to working with the government of Zambia at all levels, as well as with civil society and the private sector. Involvement of the various partners in the cluster advisory groups, the CACs, and the technical working groups is critical for better alignment and delivery of our efforts.
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Over 30 miners are currently trapped after an open-pit mine collapsed on them in Chingola on the Copperbelt. Home Affairs and Internal Security Minister Jack Mwimbu has told Parliament this morning that the trapped miners are now under the rubble and rescuers are struggling to retrieve them. Mr. Mwimbu, who did not name the mine where the miners are trapped, has since urged Zambians to commit the trapped miners in prayers. One illegal miner has died at Black Pit area of Konkola Copper Mines KCM dump site after a portion of earth collapsed on him and others, according to Copperbelt Police Commissioner Peacewell Mwemba. 6th Republican President and Patriotic Front faction leader Edgar Lungu has called on Zambians to wage a vicious war against what he calls new form of colonial masters. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka Friday, December 1st, Mr. Lungu laments that the country is in deep trouble, which Zambians need to liberate themselves from. The former head of state adds that he came back to active politics to champion this cause and save the Patriotic Front from being stolen or killed by the government in power, saying he is ready for anything, including risking his life. He says he has failed to remain in retirement and be silent when injustice and assault on democracy is being perpetrated. Mr. Lungu held a press briefing hours after a circular from the Registrar of Societies showing Matero Member of Parliament as the party leader circulated on social media. Lusaka High Court Judge Corinne Mwenda has acquitted the political advisor to former President Edgar Lungu, Chris ZIMBA, and 3 others from terrorism charges in relation to the gassing incident that characterized the country in 2020. Delivering judgment Friday, Judge Mwenda established that the state failed to adduce evidence to prove the accused were involved in terrorism activities. This was in a case where Dr. Zumani was jointly charged with Given Piri 37, a businessman of Misisi Compound, Malon Banda, a 36-year-old businessman of 12 Miles area, and Potiphar Gwai, 44, a mayoress of Mtendere Compound. More in this report.
After spending 6 months plus behind the prison cells of Lusaka, political advisor to former President Edgar Lungu, Chris ZIMBA, and 3 others have walked to freedom after the Lusaka High Court acquitted them from terrorism charges in relation to the gassing incident that characterized the country in 2020. The 4 who had been incarcerated for the past 6 months were set at liberty by High Court Judge Corinne Mwenda, who in a judgment established that the state failed to adduce evidence to prove that the 4 were involved in terrorism activities. Dr. Zimba was standing trial alongside Given Piri 37, a businessman, Malon Banda 36, a businessman, and Potiphar Ngawa 44, a male nurse with charges of possessing and procuring terrorism articles. During their trial, the 4 maintained their innocence. They had pleaded not guilty to the allegations. Today, they exited the courtroom as free men. Their lawyers, led by Makebi Zulu, successfully argued the case.
But God has exposed and shamed the enemy because justice has prevailed. So I would like to thank God for the judicial system and the judges for exercising courage and objectivity and professionalism to deliver such a professional, neutral and fair judgment. What we faced was the political and the malicious charge. So it only took heaven, it only took God to rescue us. When I look at myself and my 3 co-accused, I see ourselves as the case of Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the So we faced a Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar has a heart to charge people by throwing you in the furnace of fire. So what we are going through was a furnace of fire. But we have come out unhurt because God was with us.
Family members and friends gathered outside Chimbwakaila Correctional Facility in Lusaka, expressing relief and joy at their release. The 4 individuals were taken into custody in May 2023. During the first month of 2020, cases of gassings were first reported in Chingola on the Copperbelt province, and the acts of terror spread across the country, with people being gassed in their homes and schools. The 4 were accused by the state of being behind the said acts. However, due to lack of evidence, the court this morning set them free. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka Magistrates Court has given an early adjournment in the case where Lusaka businessman and associate to former Republican President Edgar Lungu, Harry Findlay, is accused of forging an immigration stamp, among other charges. This case, which was coming up for continued trial, has been adjourned to the 24th of January 2024 because the magistrate presiding over Sylvia Munyinya was not present. In this matter, Mr. Findlay is charged with 2 counts. The state accused Mr. Findlay of acquiring a Zambian passport on the 3rd of October 2022, purporting to have lost the one he had obtained earlier. He is also accused of being found in possession of endorsements of forged immigration stamps for Mwami Immigration Border Control in his passport, purporting that it was officially endorsed when in fact not. Government has unveiled International Resources Holding Limited as a preferred strategic equity partner for Mopani Copper Mines MCM. Speaking during a press conference Friday morning, Minister of Mines and Minerals Development Paul Kabuswe said the IRH, an affiliate company of Abu Dhabi Conglomerate International Holding Company, was selected after extensive exercise from 13 bidders. Mr. Kabuswe, who could not give details of the share capital government ZCCM-IH is targeting, has assured Zambians of a good deal once all details are finalized. He adds that IRH and ZCCM Investment Holdings is also working at resetting the incumbent relationship with Glencore, whose final details will also be available after all transaction documents are finalized. Meanwhile, Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo says the announcement of the equity partner in Mopani gives further testament of President Hakainde Hichilema's commitment to bring the mining sector to its glory days. More in the following report.
Government has selected International Resources Holding Limited, IRH, as a strategic equity partner for Mopani Copper Mines, MCM. The announcement comes after a long wait and speculation over the future of the mine. Minister of Mines and Minerals Development, Paul Kabuswe, Friday morning, says the Abu Dhabi Conglomerate International Holding Affiliate was selected out of 13 bidders.
As such, government through ZCCM-IH and IRH are committed to ensuring that Mopani delivers its optimal production levels, become a leading Zambian copper producer, and contribute to the 3 million tons of copper production per annum by 2031 as set by government. The conclusion of the transaction is subject to entry into definitive transaction documents and will be subject to various conditions precedent commensurate to a transaction of this nature.
Mr. Kabuswe could not divulge details on the partnership, stressed that citizens will not be given a bad deal as government is doing due diligence over the matter.
We will give you those details at signing, and this should be done very, very soon. But what I will tell you is that we are going to be happy with what we've done. You asked about the fact that Zambians are not capable. No, Zambians are very capable. That's why you'll see when we give you the complete details from Mopani, you'll see how that the president has really thought through for Zambians to run.
Copperbelt Minister Elisha Matambo was on hand to welcome the development as he castigated staunch government critics over the issue.
Yes, this announcement today of Mopani, that is what everyone was waiting for. This means that Copperbelt now, the heartbeat, I think, has come back to normal. Because Mopani is what everyone was waiting for. The Mingomba in Chirawombwe, it will be back to life. Mufrida will be back to life. What more? Finish mrefu aya, la PF. All these issues we are talking about, the people brought Copperbelt on its knees. And Copperbelt residents, voters, are very intelligent. They cannot be misled.
Meanwhile, welcoming the deal, economist Yusuf Dodia has urged government to be careful from the onset in sealing the deal.
So that at the end of the day, we don't have an investor who comes and fails to deliver, and then we are now looking for another equity partner. So I think from the very beginning, our due diligence needs to be done on the company, and also a signed agreement on what they are going to do, how they are going to do it, how much it's going to cost, and what timelines are associated with each activity should be documented and become part of the contractual obligation.
For Camnet TV News, Afias Kaptula, Lusaka.
Thank you for still staying with us. This is Camnet Television Main News. We'll take our first break. Join us for more news after the break.
Potatoes, the unsung heroes of flavor. From crispy chips to creamy mash, potatoes are the versatile superstars of your kitchen. Grown with love by our dedicated workforce drawn from around the community of Palavana. Savenda Farm's commitment is to see to it that we have potatoes that are grown right, healthy, big and tasty. For that quick fix or big celebration or that meal that brings family together, top chefs rely on the Savenda potato to create culinary masterpieces. And for others, it's that icebreaker to a delightful conversation. So, embrace the magic of Savenda potatoes. They're not just a side dish, they're the heart and soul of your kitchen. Savenda, save nations, develop Africa.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Renglow, your smart irrigation partner.
We'll continue with the news. The Advocates for National Development and Democracy has reminded the government to expedite the Vedanta KCM transition process. Executive Director Samuel Banda says it is vital that Vedanta takes full control of operations of KCM and begin implementation of its strategic and corporate investment commitments and address issues affecting contractors and suppliers. Some contractors at Konkola Copper Mines KCM have shut down operations at the mine due to the huge debt owed to them. And Mr. Banda says due to the challenges at the mine, the contractors can no longer sustain their operations. As a result, they have downed tools.
In order for government to positively address the challenges that the suppliers and contractors are facing at Konkola Copper Mine, it is profoundly important that the Minister of Mines, Honorable Poka Buswe, through the ZCCMIH, expedite the KCM Vendata transition process so that Vendata Resources can take full control of KCM and commence the implementation of its strategic corporate investment commitments, such as the injection of over $1 billion US for mining development and recapitalization. Apparently, it is sad that the contractors have shut down their operations at KCM. They can't sustain their operations due to financial constraints. As you may be aware, that KCM is owing their suppliers and contractors around $250 million US, and they're all looking forward to Vendata Resources to take full control of KCM. As ANDD, our position is that in the interest of resuscitating KCM, restore national economic development, clear off the debts that KSM is owed to the suppliers and contractors, and address such economic challenges, such as the depreciation of kwacha. The Minister of Mines.
Zambia Sugar PLC has handed over a police post it constructed under its social corporate responsibility to government. Speaking at the handover ceremony, Mazabuka District Commissioner Oliver Mulomba thanked Zambia Sugar for putting up a police post. He says the police post will go a long way in curbing criminal activities on the sugar estate and Mazabuka district at large. And Zambia Sugar Country Managing Director Oswald Magwenzi says his company will continue supporting the communities it operates in. Details in the following report.
Peace and security can never be underestimated in any given society. The role the police plays in any organized society is to maintain law and order and has helped many societies to live in harmony. Many communities are yearning to have police presence, and for Mazabuka community, they are lucky to house the biggest sugar factory in the country that places premium on the communities it operates in. It is for this reason that Zambia Sugar has handed over to government a police post it built under its corporate social responsibility. Speaking at the handover ceremony of the facility, Zambia Sugar Managing Director Oswald Magwenzi says his company will continue supporting the communities it is operating from. He says Zambia Sugar places great importance on security and safety.
And the police plays a very significant role to make sure that we feel secure. But they need somewhere to operate from. You know, they can't provide us this service when they themselves don't have somewhere to operate from. So we are very pleased today that we will hand over a facility that will be an enabler for the police to do their work of protecting us, securing us in a comfortable environment. So I'm very pleased that we are doing that today.
And speaking at the same function, Mazabuka District Commissioner Oliver Mulomba thanked Zambia Sugar for the gesture, adding that for any community to attain sustainable development, peace and security are key.
And this event we have today, this afternoon, is a clear demonstration of the real partnership that we desire to have with the private sector going forward. Because talking something else and doing something else. When we have the talking accompanied with action, this is the real partnership. And it is our wish as New Dawn government to continue partnering with private companies going forward.
Mazabuka district has for some time now seen a rise in criminal activities due to the few number of police posts. One hopes that the addition of this police post will enhance security and reduce on the number of criminal activities. Marco Kwakozi, Camnet.
The government has underscored the importance of including community members in the HIV/AIDS response through increased resource allocation. Minister of Health Sylvia Masewo says though community members have been included in some interventions to fight HIV/AIDS, their participation remains limited. Ms. Masewo says the ministry has since intensified the push for decentralization of health services to communities to enhance their participation. The minister was speaking during the World AIDS Day commemoration in Lusaka, held under the theme, "Let Communities Lead." We apologize for lack of audio in that clip. We'll take our second and final break. Join us for international sports news after the break.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. And now in international news, in a press conference held in Bukavu on Wednesday, November 29, Dr. Denis Mukwege, the renowned activist and Nobel laureate, declared his commitment to repairing and healing the Democratic Republic of Congo comprehensively. Presenting himself as the candidate of the people, Mukwege outlined his societal project aimed at alleviating the suffering of a population enduring over 30 years of turmoil. His vision comprises 12 pillars, including environmental safety, housing security, journalist protection, economic stability, and judicial security. Here's a roundup of international news for more.
In a press conference held in Bukavu on Wednesday, Denis Mukwege, the renowned activist and Nobel laureate, declared his commitment to repairing and healing the DRC comprehensively. Presenting himself as the candidate of the people, Mukwege outlined a societal project aimed at alleviating the suffering of a population enduring over 30 years of turmoil. Putting an end to the war would be our top priority. I explained this to you in form of the Tree of Peace, which has roots that constitute our security, our defense. The trunk will in fact constitute this program to be able to give work and food to people. And there are the 12 branches, so the branches are made up of 12 securities that we consider to be useful to enable our population to lead a normal life in a democratic country. Addressing the urgent need for peace in Congo, he highlighted the necessity for employment to meet basic needs, expressing optimism that collaboration with supportive lawmakers could address issues such as corruption and legal insecurity. Congo needs peace. The Congolese need work to meet their needs, to simply feed their families. I'm sure that there will be MPs who can join us so that we can put an end to this problem. I've just spoken about corruption, embezzlement. Today we don't have legal and judicial security. Someone who is stronger than you can snatch your property and he asks you to stand up to him. During a recent popular gathering on November 29, Dr. Denis Mukwege urged residents to vote for him on December 20, portraying his candidacy as a beacon of hope for a healed and revitalized Congo.
More people are getting sick with malaria, according to a new report by the World Health Organization, WHO, that shows there were an estimated 60 million more cases than the pre-pandemic level in 2019. The rise comes despite advancements in medical treatments for pregnant women and children, and increased access to nets treated with insecticide.
There were an estimated 249 million malaria cases globally in 2022 and 608,000 deaths. The world faces a worsening scenario in terms of both malaria cases and deaths compared to pre-pandemic levels. In addition to disruption caused by COVID-19, the global fight against malaria has faced a growing number of threats, such as drug and insecticide resistance, humanitarian crisis, resource constraint, and delays in program implementation. Progress has also been hampered by insufficient coverage of malaria control interventions, particularly in countries with a high burden of the disease. And as we highlight in our report, climate change poses an added challenge.
Globally, there were 5 million more cases of malaria in 2022 than the previous year, with Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Uganda also saw cases rise.
Climate change poses one of the biggest threats to human health. Diseases such as malaria are sensitive to changes in temperature, humidity, and rainfall. As temperatures rise across the planet, some environments will become more favorable for mosquito breeding and survive, and some less favorable.
The report, however, notes that the elimination of malaria in some countries has seen some success.
Guinea-Bissau's army announced on Friday that it had detained the leader of the security forces unit responsible for overnight clashes in the capital and asserted that the situation was now under control. Throughout the night and into Friday morning, gunfire erupted in Bissau during confrontations between members of the National Guard and Presidential Guard Special Forces. The gunfire ensued following the release of 2 government members by National Guard soldiers who had been questioned by the police on Thursday. The 2 men had been summoned by the judiciary on the same day and taken into custody. President Umaru Sissoco Embalo appointed 2 generals in September as head of security detail and chief of staff respectively. The reinforcement of presidential security comes at a time when coups or attempted coups are multiplying in West Africa.
And now in sports news, the Copper Queens were back on the training pitch at Trade Fair Grounds in NDOLA to prepare for Tuesday's Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON final round return leg qualifier against Angola. Coach Bruce Mwape's side switched on for the recovery session as they look to extend their aggregate score and qualify for the 2024 WAFCON at the expense of their neighbors following their 6-0 win at the Estadio 22 de Junho in Luanda on Wednesday. The Copper Queens will host Angola in their reverse fixture set for Levi Mwanawasa Stadium in NDOLA on Tuesday, 5 December 2023 at 18 hours. To end the Camnet television main news, the top stories once again. Former presidential advisor Chris Zumani-Zimba acquitted of treason charges. The church condemns the looting of national resources through compensations. Over 30 miners trapped following a mine accident. In international news, an opposition leader promises to heal and restore DR-CONGO. In sports news, Copper Queens hold recovery session in NDOLA. Our comment verse of the day is coming from Romans 12, verse 12. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo, and thanks for watching Camnet Television Main News. Bye-bye.